On my own behalf, on behalf of everyone present here, and also on behalf of those who are absent, let me welcome Mr. Chulananda Samaranayake from Sri Lanka. Sir, you have a most unusual name. Samaranayake is a name that our comrades will really like because it means a leader who organizes protests and strikes. I don't know whether that is the real meaning in your language, Sinhala, but what I understand about Chulananda is that it means a happy child. Is that right?
Yes, Chula means small, little, and Nanda, Ananda is happiness, yes. Okay. The other part is also correct, Samaranayake.
Okay. You have translated 110 books into the Sinhala language. That includes many Russian and Latin American authors. You have also translated Perumal Murugan, K.R. Meera, Nalini Jamila's autobiography of a sex worker, and Yashpal. Twice you have won state literary awards for translation and the Leo Tolstoy Award from the Russian Cultural Center. Last year, you were declared the best writer for children. You have also published some poems in English. I understand you were employed in the Ministry of Public Administration. How did you then become a writer?
Yes, that's an interesting story because I studied commerce subjects in my A-levels as well as in my university. My degree was Bachelor of Business Administration. Fortunately or unfortunately, I am a political creature. So during my university life, I had many political activities as well as social activities. As a result of these things, in 1989, the most terrific period of the history of our country in the down south, when I was studying for my second year examinations, I was arrested, not arrested, actually the real word for the kidnapped by some civil clothesmen, but they are the army personnel. And I was kidnapped early in the morning around 8 o'clock on a road when I was in a cafe to have my breakfast. Without having anything to eat for more than 3 days. During that time, I was running away from the police and army. And they kidnapped me and taken me to a torturing chamber just close to my office, where I worked for more than 31 years. After releasing, I mean. After that, for the second time, I was kidnapped again by the police when I was going for a funeral of one of my university lecturers' brother. For the third time, in Colombo, the commercial capital of my country, I was kidnapped again at noon when I was returning from a book exhibition after purchasing certain books. When I was returning to my university, I was just kidnapped in front of the National Museum of our country. For the third time, I was kept behind bar for more than 1.5 years, and they filed 2 cases against me under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, which was the most terrific act in my country. But I won 2 cases within 2 days and came out. During that time, while I was in the torturing chamber, I fought and get the opportunity to sit for my final examination, and I was graduated from University of Sri Lanka. That is one of the leading universities of my country. During that period, when I was kept behind bars, I started writing for the second time. From my childhood, I am a writer. My father was a school principal and my mother was a nurse. There was a little library in my house. My father, during his whole lifetime, served for the children of the rural areas. And using the books of his library, I got my first experience of reading and writing. Then during the period I was detaining, I started writing. My first writings were short stories, diary notes, and then poems. Then I started translations. For the first time, I translated several short stories. I can remember. Among them, there were some short stories written by R.K. Narayan. He is very famous in my country. Then I started translating a famous novel written by Soviet Kyrgyz writer Chingiz Aytmatov, Pavel Gulzari's masterpiece. That was a dream to me because I like very much that novel. So I started writing, translating that. I finished it. After releasing from the prison, I joined firstly at the private sector. Within a short period, I got an appointment in the government sector as the translator of the Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs, which is the leading ministry of my country. For more than 29 years, I served there. Then during that time, I developed my career as a translator, literary translator, and as a professional translator. The wonderful thing is this. I started translating Aytmatov's book, and then I translated another 5 novels of Chingiz Aytmatov. One day I got an email from United Kingdom from a certain professor called Rahima Abduwalieva. She has informed me that they have came to know that I have translated several books of Chingiz Aytmatov. In appreciation of my effort, they have decided to award me Chingiz Aytmatov International Award. So I had a chance to go to the United Kingdom with my wife to accept that award. That is the starting point of my career as a translator and writer.
I was reading one of your recent books of English poems, Glimpses of a Shattered Island, which you were kind enough to give me. And there you have mentioned in one of the poems, police or military officer asking a prisoner if he had ever seen a mass grave. Was that your own experience?
Yes, we had 2 difficult times. One is the 30 years war in the northern area. The other 2 instances, in 1971, there was a struggle between the government and the rebels in southern area. Then again, from 1983 up to 1989. During those 2 periods, there were certain abductions, kidnapping, disappearances, and the incidents of mass graves. So they are the familiar experience of Sri Lankan, especially of my generation. So I had the same experience. I was a victim of a torturing chamber. Twice they tried to kill me. So I had a harsh experience about these things. But today, when I look back, I look at those things as experiences, life experience, that's all.
To write or not to write? That is the question. As intolerance becomes a global phenomenon, do authors face a dilemma? Will someone file a defamation suit? Will someone spew venom on social media? What consequences will I have to face? Social boycott? Arrest? What do you think?
Just today, the writer's task is becoming a difficult path. That's true. In my country is also, we are having certain problems because now there are media, then social media, electronic media, everything is there. And we are living in a glass cubicle. So we are in the open arena. And the most terrible thing is, the empathy is no more in the world. No one is ready to respect other. No one is ready to listen the other person's views. No one is ready to accept the views and ideas of the others. That is the real problem. So when writer writes something, he has to face with the challenges comes from the society. It's all right. But the thing is this, sometimes he is attacked by the society. That is the problem. So there should be freedom for expression, freedom of expression. It is in my constitution also. Sometimes the writers and especially the creators, I mean the film industry, the drama industry, all have to face such situation day by day in a context where political struggles of all over the world is becoming a harsh truth. You know, from up to Australia, there are many conflicts. Day by day, the uh, tension among the people, among the government, among the politicians is going high. So in that sense, the writer must be very careful, but he should be ready to face the challenge in his writing.
What are the other challenges faced by writers in Sri Lanka today?
Yes, in Sri Lanka, we have several challenges. The first thing is now we are still trying to emerging from a very terrific economic crisis. In 2022, we were named as a country in the verge of bankruptcy. Then we had another terrible attack very recently. The Ditwa storm. Almost all the country was destroyed by this terrific storm. So now people are trying to live. More than 16,000 families are displaced in only one district. So for more than nearly 2 months, we are struggling to make ways for such affected people. Since November, I was also occupying and doing many programs, conducting workshops for government officers who are working with the affected people to implement many relief works. In that context, we are having two types of challenges. To cope up with the market. Normally in Sri Lanka, only 1,000 copies are published in one book. Maximum. If it is popular, you can go for the second print, but it is very rare. And the prices of the book and the prices in the printing industry is too high, it's unbearable. So people cannot afford, or they can spend their money for the books. When they go with their schedule, there are many than purchasing a book. I think this is the most challenging moment in my country.
I mean, would you say the publishing industry in Sri Lanka is going downhill?
Yes, it is facing with challenges, but still they are publishing. Still we are translating. Now I have completed more than 10 translations. It's with me, but I can't publish these things because of that price matter.
And now to come to another question, more positive. In the WhatsApp era, how do we get children interested in reading and writing books? Should we encourage the youth to write, or should we stop writing? They say the pen is mightier than the sword. In the age of social media, the keyboard is mighty. I often ask myself, should I abandon pen and keyboard and just use my tongue? What would you advise?
Yes, that is the problem. Last November, December, there we met 3 writers from Russia. In our discussion, we told them that we are having certain problems with our children to inculcate in them the habit of reading. They say the same situation is there in Russia also, the same situation in the UK. Because in our children, not only our children, we are also the victim of these sophisticated devices. We are just looking at their mobile phone while we are traveling in buses. The same thing happened. I am traveling by bus and train from my workstation to my home. One day I just felt that a heavy gunny bag was on my shoulder. Then I just looked back. The huge lady was just leaning against me and she was touching her phone. That is a common experience. He also, I think, same. So we have to work as adults, especially as elders, to change the mindset of our children and bring them back to the books and environment. That is the most terrific thing. In my country, we are trying, but this is not an easy task. They just look at the textbooks. Parents, they want just the highest marks for the examination. Sometimes I'm conducting workshops for children to develop their reading habits. Sometimes mothers and fathers will come to me. They say, so can you give me an advice? Why? My son is reading too much. He reads many books. Can you give me an advice to reduce that? They want to take their children away from the books. That is the situation. So we are making a huge struggle to inculcate reading habits again. We are also having exhibitions. There is a huge exhibition in my country organized by the Publishers Association of Sri Lanka. Many people are coming. They're just struggling to get the textbooks, exercise books. You know, there are books called, what they call, I can't get the real word now. No, I mean that there are books that give the specific answers to the questions in the examination papers.
Guide. Guide?
Not guide, the real answers. For 10 years,
Yeah.
15 years, they just, right? They run after these things, not after the literature. Once I asked one of our children, do you know Francis Bacon? No, nothing. You know the bacon in the supermarket? Yes, they know. Then I asked, do you know there's a saying, reading maketh a full man? Yes, we know. Who said this? No.
No idea.
Then I asked, Bacon said, reading maketh a full man. Conference, a ready man. Writing, a perfect man. Now we don't read. We don't have dialogues. We don't try to write. We just the victims of a bad education system. I think all over the world, the system.
Especially now that we have chat GPT and everything, there is no need to learn a lot of stuff. I mean, especially there's no need to learn things by heart. You can always refer for any that you want to. Of course, chat GPT does have its, being a person with an IT background, I have to say, especially when it comes to books, chat GPT is absolutely inadequate. In fact, I often tell my publishers, don't use any software for checking my book. You please do it manually. Otherwise, it's going to screw up everything. There are a lot of things that the software doesn't understand because obviously the programmer is not a writer. So they are just seeing the same words are appearing somewhere else, nothing more. So there are issues. Also, we have a younger generation that is more WhatsApp educated than anything else. First thing in the morning, you get some 10 or 20 messages on WhatsApp. A lot of it is political propaganda, camouflaged as history, as sociology, etc. And somebody who's digesting this on a daily basis just knows only that and doesn't have the capability to discern what is a genuine message and what is a fictional, concocted by somebody like that. Now, how do we deal with these things as writers? Obviously, most people, at least most professional writers, try to make sure that they don't make any mistake. Okay, we check the same thing 100 times, this way and that way, that the publisher does it, the editor does it. It's checked and cross-checked by many people before it actually comes out in print. But when we get something, as a forward, that process of checking. In fact, I often, return many messages saying check, check. And then, the person who's sending in will just stop sending it to others. That's the most they can do. Now we have a few minutes left. So if any members from the audience would like to ask any questions to Mr. Samaranayake, you're welcome. Would you like to come forward? Otherwise, somebody should give him a mic. You can come forward, please. Please tell us your name and then ask the question.
Hello.
Hello.
Mr. Samaranayake, my name is Praveen Kumar. Sri Lanka has gone through one of the worst ethnic conflicts in the world, and there are still Tamils living in distress out there. And I would like to know what is the representation that community gets in your Sinhalese literature or literature in in Sri Lanka.
Yes, the problem is this. During the 30 years of war, there was a huge barrier between Sinhala and the Tamil community and Muslims. There were many struggle, misconceptions among these communities. But now we are struggling to make the bridges, make the links between Tamil community and Sri Lanka Sinhalese. So we are developing, but not much satisfaction. But still we are struggling. Now we are translating Sinhala literature into Tamil language and Tamil literature into Sinhala language. And we are having certain dialogues. And now the situation is having a good turn, I think, in my country. I don't think that we will again have such conflict, because now we are making many programs to develop the dialogue between communities. I can't hear you. It's not working, I think.
Now we can hear.
It is not just about the conflict I am talking about. I just would like to know whether the, the kind of atrocities that have been committed against the Tamils or the pain they have undergone through all these years, have that been represented in Sinhalese literature at all? I mean, yeah.
Yes, of course. There are many short stories, novels, and all those things. But the problem is that they are not in other languages. That is the problem. There is a communication barrier. Our writers are writing. I also write. Always we are representing their agony. That is our duty. Sri Lanka belongs to every person. Maybe he is a Tamil, he is a Sinhala, he is a Muslim, or whatever. If he is a citizen of this country, they should be equal. That is my position. We are fighting for that.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jayapalan. To my knowledge, I know Tamil also. I just keep in track of the incidents in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a small country, not even as wide as Tamil Nadu. But the conflicts since they got independence, especially the conflicts between Tamils and Sinhalese, that too with the support of the Buddhist monks, it is too much. And in so many blasters happened in Colombo, Jaffna, in all those areas. And IPKF went there, they created more problems there. They themselves, I don't know, I should tell that, they raped Tamil ladies there. It's a fact. And we lost around 5,000 soldiers. So what were your experiences in these conflicts? How did you manage reporting? Because we could get something, but your experience, I want to know how you managed it, reporting it. And one thing I want to share, there was a great fire of Tamil library in Colombo, and it was ignited by the Sinhalese. So I want to know how you reported, how did you manage your journalism? Thank you.
Yes, that is the most terrific topic that we have to discuss, but we should face with it. You told the truth. In 1983, the Jaffna library was burned down by the mob went from Colombo. We know that incident. But we are not the supporter of this. And you told about the Buddhists and Buddhisms. There is Buddhism. But every Buddhist is not a follower of Lord Buddha. That is the problem. There are religions, but there are no followers. They are not devotees. They're just preachers. So in my case, as a writer, I always wrote my words for the ethnic harmony. Still, there is a long way to go, but I am in firm conviction that we can change this situation, diaspora. I don't like that word. Every Tamil who lived in Sri Lanka should have the right to come back to our country, not my country, to our country. That is my vision.
Hello, one more thing, sir, just a minute. How many leaders were murdered, including Premadasa? And many, I know, I just forgot the names of the leaders, very great leaders. It is too much. The history has taught us it's too much.
Yeah.
Will there be any good optimism available in future? Can we have a good governors? I know lots of Tamilians are still there, labors are there, very big business houses are there. Do you think that there'll be positive movements there? Colombo, Sri Lanka have a good future also. Thank you.
Yes, there will be. There will be. We have to work for that. Without waiting, we have to take the steps, necessary steps. I mean, there were certain problems, grave problems, but now the dialogue is on. Now we are discussing, and especially under the present government, I think we have enough opportunities to have a good turn.
Sir, this is addressed to Pushpa Kurup. Since you are a generative AI savvy person, I am asking this question. Recently, Noam Chomsky, the linguist, said that ChatGPT is mere high-tech plagiarism. You rightly pointed out, whenever we want a gist of a great classic, it gives dumb ideas or foolish ideas. In my experience, ChatGPT is a fool because it only understands the syntax, not the semantics. The meaning connections it don't understand. What is your take, madam? Since you are a
Sir,
IT...
actually, literature will have many layers of meaning, especially some languages like Urdu, Arabic and all that. It's not just the, I often say, it will anger some of my Malayali friends, that Malayalam doesn't have the same range as some other languages. It's just like if some languages are A to Z, Malayalam will be something like F to K or something like that. The range is less. So it becomes more difficult to grasp the meaning. Now, right now, ChatGPT is an incipient stage, I would say. It is developed, but not to that extent. It is good for some purposes. Like, for instance, you want to go to Delhi. You have 3 days. You can ask ChatGPT, look, I've got 3 days. Where should I go? It will tell you exactly where to go, which are the places, what will be the cost of taxi. If you go in a bus, what it will be, whether train is available, whether metro is there, which hotel you should stay, etc., etc. Safety issues, is it safe? It will tell you that also. Basically, what you said is right. It is sourcing all its information from the internet. Whatever is floating around, it picks up. And then it makes a quick synthesis. It is very fast. It will give you within seconds. There are uses. The same research, if you and I do, it will take us hours sitting before the computer to find out which hotel we have to book, where we have to go, and yeah.
Madam, the present state of ChatGPT is that of a child who shows his father that, Dad, I have a headache, showing his stomach. It is the plight of ChatGPT today.
I agree with you. ChatGPT is in the child stage, but it will mature. It will come to a sophisticated stage where it is far more intelligent than we are. We have to understand the limitations of one human brain. Maximum, my brain can process only this much. And now that I'm growing older, I'm forgetting so many things. But ChatGPT, once it learns something, it will not forget. When I say ChatGPT, I'm generally talking about AI. Okay.
Do you think by the year 2040 a chatbot will win physics?
I am not professional enough to give a date, but these things happen very fast because there are a lot of young, brilliant minds working on these things.
It's unpredictable, no?
They predict that physics Nobel will be won by a chatbot.
Possible. Yes, it can do. If it can do research, it can innovation, invention, all are possible.
Because we are living in a rapidly changing world.
And somehow I see all these things as good things. Even though, I use it for certain purposes, don't use for certain purposes. There are things where I will always only read a book. And I will tell my students, my grandchildren, everybody, that you read from the book. Don't learn from internet.
Yes, we should get the technology, but first of all, we should have the basics, fundamentals.
Getting children, I think, to read is the biggest challenge. What I try to do with the grandchildren is, if my granddaughter doesn't like to read, she will say she wants to go to a mall. So I will take. Then I will tell her, I won't buy you anything except book. You want book, you choose, I will buy it. Then she has no choice. So she will choose some books. Since she has bought the book, she has to read them. Then she reads and she finds it very interesting. So then she reads from morning to evening. See, once it becomes a habit, then they will do it on their own. But until that, we have to hold their hand. We have to give some inducement, some punishment, find some ways. Or I think in the education system, it's very important for the teachers and system to encourage, you give prizes or whatever, and see
Yeah.
that, the creative impulse is there in everyone. Because it is not nurtured, it doesn't develop. Only some of us write. See, if there are 10 people who can sing well, there'll be only one person who can write well. Okay? A lot of people will speak well, but very few of them will write. It's something we can all do.
In my country, we are doing this way. We encourage our youngsters to make short films using their mobile phone. Then they come to us. Then we conduct workshops. Then we ask, how do you write a script? Then come the problems. Then we start encouraging them to read. That is the way that we are working. We are swimming with them, swimming with the current, and just have the turn. We should have our own strategies to change this situation, I think.
Excuse
Yes,
me.
yeah.
There are hundreds of Sri Lankan refugee camps throughout India. And Sri Lankan Tamils are all over. They are doing fantastically well. My simple question, even leading politicians in Tamil Nadu, they say one thing. LTT Prabhakaran is still alive. As a journalist, what is your answer for that?
That's a tough one.
Yes, that's a tough one. That is the war. That's the nature of war. The powerful person wins, right? But there should be justice. Everything should be done in open air. We have so many black marks in our history. There are many incidents in northern area as well as southern area. There are wounds to be dressed. So I think this is the time that we have to look back and tolerate and discuss and make some compromises just for the development of the country as a whole, not as separate ethnicities. I know this is very painful because I have my own Tamil friends. Once there was an incident, that is the biography written by Tamilini, the LTT women cadre. She died by a cancer. Her last will was, sell my book. The money that you get from that selling, please donate that amount to the main cancer hospital of our country. So we arrange it. Amidst various threats and challenges, we organized a book launching session in Colombo, in the heart of Colombo. We had many problems, but we did it. In that stage, we lit an oil lamp, only one oil lamp, for those who were victimized of that bloody war. We collected some money from that selling, and we donated that money following the last will of Tamilini to the cancer hospital of my country. So I think if we are ready to work with other people, we can win. There are politicos. But if the citizens are gathering, no one can defeat us. That is my view.
Any other questions?
Hi, sir. I am Sabha. I know you. Yesterday, I have seen one of your videos that you have posted in YouTube. In it, you are discussing about the 3 languages existing in Sri Lanka, that is Sinhala, Tamil, and English. My question is this, that I would like to know, because we have not been receiving too much literature from Sri Lanka now. So what is the status? Hello. What is the status right now in Sri Lanka it's a Tamil literature.
Sri Lankan Tamil literature.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, it's developing. There are many Tamil young people who are writing now. But the problem is that still there is a long way to translate these things into English and other languages. If we have such type of system, then there will be an improvement. These days we are discussing, especially the cultural minister of Sri Lanka, Mr. Hindu Sunil Senevi. He is discussing with me also to starting a translators guild, translators pool under the Ministry of Culture to face these barriers. Sri Lanka, we have a very good literature, Tamil, Muslims and Sinhala communities, but the language has become the barrier. So we have to invade the international market, not like in India. In Sri Lanka, it is difficult.
If I may ask a question in between, what are the languages taught in the schools?
Sinhala and English, Sinhala, English and Tamil. Basically in Sinhala schools, they teach in Sinhala. English is a subject. In international schools, the language medium is English. In Tamil schools, Tamil. Tamil and Muslim schools.
Sir, about the clash between Tamil and Sinhalese. So do you think that there is a kind of clash of civilization, like any clash between some religions, language? How do you look at it from that prism? To put it in Samuel P. Huntington language, clash of civilization, clash
Sorry?
of civilizations,
Clashes?
clash of civilizations.
Civilization clash.
Clash of civilization.
Do you
Yes.
think so, sir? What is your take on that? Just response.
Yes, I think clash of civilization. It is politics, no? It is politics. Everywhere there is politics. Natural resources, environment. Now the world is run by mass companies and politicians.
So what would be the role of language and religion in that?
Religion is also
they have
business
a
now.
role in that?
Now the religion is, it has become business now.
In this particular clash, in the clash we are discussing now, sir.
In Sri Lanka,
Yeah, in Sri Lanka. Do you
Yes.
think that that is a clash of civilization? The part of it is religion and language.
yeah, it's true. We have religions and preachers, but not the followers. Buddha taught ahimsa. We don't follow that. In every religion, ahimsa is the base, I think. We should go for the fundamental, that's why I'm telling.
I am Professor Sadashivan Nair.
We can hear.
So these are the days of regime change inaugurated by powerful countries. I believe that the reason for this regime change is lack of democracy.
Lack
If-
of democracy.
Democracy. If the regime is, political leadership is strongly rooted in the people's belief, faith, there will be no scope for such regime change. How popular or how democratic is the present regime in Sri Lanka? Will it face the earlier instance of, because this regime change was happened earlier in Sri Lanka. Will the same happen again?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Is there any possibility of regime change being tried by powerful countries? Because there is a lot of international politics in Sri Lanka. China is also,
Giving an example like, the US interfering in other countries and changing the regime by outside interference, not internal thing. So does Sri Lanka expect any such outside interference? Could be from China or anybody.
it happened earlier. It happened earlier, actually.
This is a common situation all over the world. No one can live alone now. There are influences. But if we can strengthen the power of the citizens, I think we can face it. There are influences. We are a small country, just a tiny grain. We can't even breathe without the influence of others. That is the harsh truth. But we are struggling. You see, now, everywhere there are problems. The missiles are going here and there. People are crying. People are the victims. And the rulers are the winners. That is the truth that I understood for more than 60 years.
There are no more questions. I think it is time to wind up this session because we don't want to encroach on the time. Thank you, Samaranayake sir, for spending your valuable time with us. We really enjoyed this discussion with you. Thank you, one and all.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me. And I should say this. I should be thankful to Pushpa for her cooperation. And Mr. Abhilash, who was my liaison officer, he was always behind me and looking after me. And in the meantime, I feel Kerala is not as another country. It's like Sri Lanka. We all are same. This is my second experience in Kerala. So, thank you for your hospitality, your kind hearts. We are in the same group. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this wonderful session, Sri Chulananda Samaranayake and Srimati Pushpa Kurup. Now, I would like to invite Dr. N. Krishna Kumar, Secretary, Kerala Legislature Secretary, to present to our respected chief guests. Thank you, sir.